Witnesses describe a horrible scene. Investigators say 2 people died when their car hit an ambulance on the Mountain Parkway, and we're learning more about the crash.
It's too hard to believe.
A Central Kentucky family in shock tonight after a woman dies in an unusual fire at her home. What firefighters say caused it.
It's become its own tourist attraction, but a massive sinkhole at the National Corvette Museum will soon be filled up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
We begin tonight with a breaking news alert out of Garrett County. Good evening. Emergency crews are on the scene of a bad crash. Investigators say that 4 people have been taken to the hospital, 2 of them with life-threatening injuries.
That crash happened about 9 tonight on US 27, known as Lexington Road, just north of Lancaster. Investigators say 2 vehicles collided head-on. They say the 2 people with the worst injuries were airlifted to UK Hospital. 2 others were taken there by ambulance. Right now, we do not know the conditions of those injured. Police are still investigating how the crash happened. Traffic is backed up for at least a mile in that area. We want you to check with WKYT.com for updates. We'll also have the very latest information tomorrow on WKYT News this morning. Witnesses tell us it sounded like an explosion. Tonight, we are learning new details about a crash in Clark County that killed 2 people and shut down the Mountain Parkway for hours.
Police say a car crossed the median of the parkway and slammed right into an ambulance this afternoon. It happened near the Powell County line. Police say the people killed were in the car. Jordan Valines has the latest on the investigation. It's our top story at 11.
As Junior Smith and his family drove their way down the Mountain Parkway Monday afternoon.
On our way back home, and the ambulance just passed us, and there was a car coming from the other direction.
Tragedy unfolded
Across the medium and into the path of the ambulance.
Before their very eyes.
It's just like a bomb going off.
A car carrying a man and woman crossed the median, hitting an Owsley County ambulance head on.
And it flipped the ambulance on its side and scooted way up the highway there.
The collision crushed the front of the ambulance and left the blue car unrecognizable.
The first thing is just shock, and you hope no one is seriously injured, but in this case they were.
You've got 2 vehicles both going the speed limit, 70 miles an hour, that collide like that basically head on. You're looking at a 140-mile-an-hour impact.
Smith and his wife ran to help the 2 inside the car, but it was simply too late.
We was first up there. Yeah, they were 2 dead in the small vehicle, and the driver of the ambulance was trapped, and the other one, we got him out.
One of the ambulance employees was flown to UK Hospital, the other taken to Clark Regional Medical Center. Their names, along with the names of the man and woman killed, have not yet been released. In Clark County, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
Now, we called the Allen Ambulance Service, which operated that Owsley County ambulance. No one there wanted to comment tonight.
It is feeling more like winter tonight as colder air has settled in across the bluegrass. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look now at this cold forecast.
Yeah, how about it? Finally, Mother Nature says, okay, let's feel like wintertime again across not only the bluegrass state, most of the country. Seeing the colder air coming into play. A little look outside, 29 degrees right now into Lexington and Covington. Those are the cold spots across Kentucky. Most other areas right at 30 degrees. Throw a little bit of a wind into the mix. Now we're creeping into the upper teens to around 20 for that all-important wind chill number. Live First Alert Defender, Kentucky's most powerful live Doppler radar, says for the most part, I got nothing until we go into the southeastern corner and a couple of very light snow showers and flurries into the higher terrain here along the Virginia border counties. That's about all she wrote, with a system that is bypassing us to our south and southeast. What many of us are looking for at this point is just a little sunshine. We've got it trying to come in from the northwest as clearing skies slowly but surely take over as we go into your Tuesday. So a cold start to the day at 24. By noontime, we're right at freezing, but again, you're going to see at least some breaks in the clouds, giving us partly sunny skies through the course of the afternoon. Gusty winds, though, will make that 35 feel like it is down into the 20s. Cold temperatures are with us for the start of the brand new year. Guys, what about the potential for some winter weather? We're tracking that possibility by the end of the week when I come back in less than 10 minutes.
Chris, thank you. Family members of a man killed in a crash over the weekend say he was returning home from spending Christmas with them. Investigators say 41-year-old Christopher Truesdale died after a car crashed into his van on Interstate 75 in Madison County. His mother tells us Truesdale grew up in Mason County and he spent Christmas there last week. They say the crash happened just 10 miles from his home.
Oh, we were really close. Me and him and I all weekend I kept saying to him, "You're your mother's child," because he acted just like me.
Police say a mother and her 2 children inside the car were injured. They say the mother and a 12-year-old are listed in critical condition. A 5-year-old child had non-life-threatening injuries. It is being called a freak accident. Investigators say a Central Kentucky woman died in a fire sparked by her cigarette lighter.
They say that lighter exploded on the woman at her home in LaRue County over the weekend. As Jerica Insko tells us, the woman's daughter says there was not much she could do to help.
It's hard for those who weren't there to believe it, but even harder for those who witnessed it, like the woman's daughter.
It's still hard to believe.
Karen Redmond says her mother, Helen Fields, was sitting in her wheelchair inside this apartment. Redmond tells us she was there when her mother was smoking a cigarette and her lighter suddenly exploded, catching Fields on fire.
I tried to get it out and I couldn't get it out.
The heat and flames were too much. Even a neighbor and a Hodgenville police officer jumped in and tried to help.
When one of the paramedics got there with the ambulance, he grabbed fire extinguisher off his ambulance and sprayed her down.
But it was too late. Fields' body was badly burned. It's a death that has touched the first responders involved.
I mean, it's very tragic. My heart goes out to the family.
And since it's her mother.
Mama just loved people. She was very quiet, and she didn't fool with a lot of people, but she loved people, and people loved Mama.
Redmond is having trouble dealing with this freak accident, but most of all, the loss. Jerica Insko, WKYT.
The Kentucky State Fire Marshal's office and state police both ruled the death accidental. A fire destroyed a family's home in Montgomery County. The fire started about 2:30 this afternoon along Prater Lane. Firefighters say a couple and their 2 children were home at the time, but they got out safely. Firefighters say by the time they arrived, there was not anything they could do to save the home. They say the family will stay with other relatives for now. Firefighters are not sure what caused the fire.
For a 3rd day, emergency crews are searching the waters off Indonesia for a missing jetliner with more than 160 people on board. Crews are investigating every lead, but so far there are no confirmed sightings of the plane, which disappeared Sunday. Chris Van Cleve has the latest on the search.
Investigators are expanding the search area and are once again scouring Indonesia's Java Sea for any sign of AirAsia Flight 8501. The Airbus A320 disappeared Sunday en route to Singapore. So far, there have been no confirmed sightings of wreckage. The last time anyone heard from Flight 8501 was 6:12 a.m. Sunday, while the plane was flying at 32,000 feet. The pilot wanted to climb to 38,000 feet, but the request was denied because of traffic. Radar contact with Flight 8501 was lost 12 minutes later. No distress call was sent.
Weather can be a serious factor, but it is never the single cause of what ultimately created the accident. Accidents are always a chain of events.
Relatives waited for any news about their loved ones. The daughter of the plane's captain pleaded over social media, "Papa, come home. I still need you. Papa, please come home." This is the 3rd air tragedy this year in that part of the world. In March, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 disappeared. No trace of that plane has been found. And in July, Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 was shot down over Ukraine. While the mission is still considered a search and rescue, investigators say Flight 8501 is likely at the bottom of the sea. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, New York.
Indonesia has asked the U.S. Navy to help in the search, so the Navy is sending a destroyer, the USS Sampson.
Today, construction crews began filling that sinkhole that opened up at the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green. Crews are putting gravel and other materials into the sinkhole. They're also plugging openings to a nearby cave. The sinkhole opened up in February in the museum's Sky Dome, swallowing 8 vintage Corvettes. Museum leaders think it will take about 2 weeks to fill the sinkhole, but they're going to keep a small part of it open as part of a permanent exhibit. And they expect that exhibit to be ready for visitors by Labor Day of next year. With winter just getting started, with that sunshine Chris talked about, road crews around the Bluegrass are making sure they have enough road salt to get through the season. Some road crews ran out of salt last winter and had used gravel instead. A salt shortage didn't help either. So crews are stocking salt supplies now before more snow arrives. Scott County leaders say they've ordered more salt than they think they'll need just in case.
A lot of sleepless nights last year trying to get salt supplies in here. Never did run out, but it was scarce last year, and so far this year I'm sitting on about 3,500 ton.
In Harrison County, they told us they started stocking up on road salt in April. Other road crews tell us that they think they have enough salt to get through the winter, barring any unusually severe winter weather.
What police say started as a fight ended with a murder outside an apartment complex in Perry County.
State police say that 21-year-old Edward Hughes and 29-year-old Alan Williams got into an argument late last night outside Cherokee Hills Apartments in Hazard. Police say that Williams then pulled out a knife and stabbed Hughes in the chest. Hughes later died at a hospital.
There's possibility that these two individuals may have had some issues in the past, but there's no way to determine at this time if that's what had caused the altercation last night.
Police arrested Williams and charged him with murder. He did not want to talk from jail today.
Richmond police have arrested a man they say accidentally shot and killed his friend. Police charged 19-year-old Richard Seary with reckless homicide. They say last night he was holding a rifle when it went off, shooting 24-year-old Cody Dittman in the head. This happened at an apartment on Wayne Drive in Richmond. Neighbors say they heard a loud noise and didn't know what had happened at first.
It's kind of shocking, you know, it's sad to hear that something like that would happen in this apartment complex, and it was just shocking and sad.
Richmond police say Dittman pulled the barrel of the rifle toward his head while Seary was holding it, but police say the safety was not on and the rifle fired.
Tonight, police are still looking for a man they say attacked two Los Angeles police officers in their patrol car. Police say two men fired shots at the officers last night. At the time, investigators say the officers were responding to an unrelated call. The officers were not injured, and police say they returned fire. Police say they later arrested one of the two men.
State transportation leaders worry that lower gas prices could be too much of a good thing. Many gas stations around the state are now selling a gallon of regular for less than $2, but Kentucky's motor fuel tax rate is based on the wholesale price of gas. With gas prices much lower in recent months, the tax rate will drop 4 cents on Thursday, and it could drop another 5 cents in April. The motor fuel tax helps pay for road projects around Kentucky. State transportation leaders say they could end up losing $300 million.
In all probability, there will be projects that are right now showing in the state highway plan, but that will have to be put off, maybe canceled altogether.
State leaders say even if gas prices start climbing again, the tax rate can't go up by more than 10% each year. They say it won't keep pace with rising gas prices.
Today, Lexington city leaders breaking ground on a new skate park. It will be built on what's now a grassy field in Berry Hill Park on Buckhorn Drive. According to our news partners at the Lexington Herald-Leader, the park will be finished by late spring or early summer of next year. It will be the largest skate park in the city. Lexington's other skate park is in Woodland Park, and it is a very popular place.
Yeah. Well, for the Wild